manuscript. Where is it? Calm yourself. It's here. I almost used it to fuel the fires of hell, to make the tea. But you were clinging onto it so tightly, I thought perhaps it was some sort of family heirloom. That's a nice word, heirloom. Heirloom. What happened? Well, your friend with the chloroform didn't like the look of my anchor. And I didn't much care for the look of his knife, so I swapped you. But his chum, very civilized, really. Then they sailed away on their little boat, the owl and the pussycat, with bruises. Who were they? Who are you, for that matter? We're not very nice people. Do you know, I saw them last Wednesday, stealing the river. As for me, well, I don't recall, but I don't think I was a very nice person either. You'll do for me, mate. Yes, no biscuits, I'm afraid. You live it? Oh, yes, sometimes. Not at high tide. Far too many river rats. Why did you help me? The lady in the pub was very nice to me. I saw you get into the pub last night.
Glad you didn't call the police.
No, I'm not very keen on the constabulary.
I'm starting to think that way myself. Was that you said something about some fellas trying to steal the river?
Yeah. In their boat. Yeah, they were filling plastic drums like this, full of river water. It's strange, really. It's not very nice to drink. It's good for tea, though. Oh, yes, now. I've been saving something for you. Now, let me see. There. That's from Ophelia.
Wait, just 1 second.
Roast beef?
No, it's roasted butternut squash risotto.
That's him.
Who?
Baby Jimmy DeCosta. He's a local villain. He got done for dog doping and fixing races. Well, Junkie Kelly and Baby Jimmy.
Too fat.
Maybe she liked fatties.
Not him. The locket.
Maybe they got bored of the greyhounds. That's the big bastard that bashed me up by the river. The one with the toy-ons, Baby Jimmy. Finally, a connection. Junkie Kelly's Baby Jimmy's girlfriend, and he had his work for it.
Why beat you up? Apart from being a complete bastard who brings tramps home.
Don't put yourself down, darling. Maybe Baby Jimmy's got the that I'm snooping into his girlfriend's death.
And maybe it's time to hand it over to Willis.
You serious? We're finally in business. This is like getting the first clue in the crossword.
But you're crap at crosswords.
Only because you won't stop talking and I can't concentrate. That might be it. Apart from yours truly, who's the only person that's been arrested recently?
Junkie.
6 times in the last 2 weeks. Maybe she was going to talk. Maybe the police were leaning on her to grass on Jimmy.
I'll check it out.
Be careful.
I'm already on a warning for sleeping with the enemy. We've come this far. Anyway, it's my birthday tomorrow, and just for once I like a date that doesn't involve McDonald's, funerals, and drowning. Think you can handle that?
At first, I had the excuse of grief to cloak my unwillingness to dwell on the death or on my wife's affliction. Then came a knock at the door. Such a knock as I had not heard since the day Ezekiel Graspeter breathed his last rattling gasp in the silence of my childhood home. Just such a knock came to my London home that night as Alice lay cold. I steadied my hand sufficiently to unbolt the great door, the servants having retired, and on this occasion, there was a presence. A constable. Clad in a dark cape that shimmered in the rain, stood there, saying not a word, staring at me, with eyes that burned in a florid face like coals in a sea of ash. This, I discovered by degrees, was Constable Frederick, sent to investigate Alice's untimely death.
What is it? I've got dead people waiting.
Could you tell if the Thames junkie injected herself? Or was injected?
Very tricky.
What about the chloroform? If she was doped and then injected, do you think that would show up?
Probably. Depends on the dose.
Could you have a look again for me?
Okay, no one's claimed the body. Then you better scram before Willis sees you. Dickens, have you read Our Mutual Friend about fishing dead bodies out of the river?
No. What's that? A suspect or your lunch?
Neither. Urine samples. I've told Uniform 100 times I just need a test tube full. They set it by the jam jar. By the bloody bucket load.
It's taking a piss.
Now this is more like it.
Roy said there was no chloroform found in the junkie's body. And the bruises could have come from anywhere.
Not exactly a watertight case, is it?
Thanks for not taking the piss. That's it! Taking the piss! Roy said he only needed small samples. What about the water? If you was testing it, you'd only need a small jar.
Not great big
Plastic drums. The marks on her shoulders could have come while they were holding her underwater.
But why risk drowning someone in public?
Not if you're holding her under in a bathtub. One double skinny latte.
You said it was coffee. Oh, that's rather good.
See?
Forgive me if I seem to be a bit slow, but when a purveyor of opium wishes to remove his concubine, why does he inject her and drown her?
Well, with his record, somebody ODs in his apartment. Willis would twig it. But a junkie turns up in the Thames, who cares?
Yeah, but what about your clever friend who fillets people for a living?
Roy? Why's that?
Well, wouldn't he know the difference between a body filled with Thames water and one filled with tap water?
Yeah, but they thought of that. They filled the bath with the river water. So that's why the boys were messing about on the river with the water barrels. Look, I'll show you. She goes back to the apartment. He greets her. Poor girl. Had a hard time at the station. You're home now. Would you like some free drugs? I'll run you a bath. They put her in the bath. The drugs kick in. She struggles. She gets her bruises while they're holding her under. One problem. We've got nothing to connect the heavy steel in the water to the drowning.
Oh, perhaps we should call in and ask them.
Here they are. And once they've gone, try and get it.
Come, Watson. The game's afoot.
No, get back in here. Get back
back in here. Hurry up, dear Watson. Just hold still. Will you stop with that Watson business? Well, make haste, my good sir.
Why, do you think baby Jimmy's in the neighbourhood watch or something?
But you, sir, are no sugar plum fairy. Get back to the car and stay there. This goes on. Yeah, so.
What?
Pizza.
What?
A pizza delivery.
What?
£11.50.
Hey, Jimmy, you order a pizza?
Alex.
What's in it?
Do you know I can't recollect? It's very good.
It's half-eaten.
Oh dear, how unfortunate. Look, I tell you what, you can have it for free.
What, an half-eaten pizza? Piss off before I whack you up.
Yeah, you're quite right. You deserve a fresh one. I'll go and get it at once. Yeah, family size, anything your tawdry heart desires. Jelly deal, perhaps?
A nice one. Jimmy, what sort of pizzas you fancy?
Constable Frederick wasted but little time in examining her, then asked to be shown straight to her room, where he requested solitude. For me, the seconds dragged like weeks and minutes turned to years as I waited and fretted by the fire in the drawing room. When, after what seemed an impossible time, he had not reappeared, I retraced my steps to Alice's chamber, but found it empty. Immediately, my heart turned to ice, and I hastened to the one room where I most dreaded his presence. There, by my wife's bedside, holding her hand like a long-lost relative, sat Constable Frederick. One look at the dancing fire in his eyes and the cruel smile that flickered beneath them told me all I feared to know. Immediately, and with the manner of a man conducting familiar business, the constable invited me to join him in my own drawing room. There, over a glass of my best port, he outlined my options in the starkest of terms. Either I could face a turn in court for attempting to conceal Alice's murder, facing the certain incarceration of my wife for that crime, and the equally certain ruin of my career, or, for the consideration of £300, I could be assured of his silence. Such a sum, though not readily available, was not beyond my means to garner, and with my assurance that the money would be his in 1 week, he left, with as little emotion as if he had solved the theft of a penny loaf. As he went, I felt the door close not just on my unwelcome visitor, but on some better part of my old self.
Are you nuts?
Well, it seems to think so.
Mike Sullivan, you are.
The rudest, most impossible, untalented journalist. Take back untalented. The DeCosta samples on the junkie's body all match. Soap under the fingernails, hair DNA, the river water, the lot. We've got 'em.
Oftentimes, success and failure are like that brass knocker sea serpent, eagerly devouring a rival's tail. They arrive together, like Siamese twins. In my case, the truth of my pen became my success. But my well-intentioned lie multiplied like cholera in the streets as I walked at night in search of inspiration or escape. Yet all this time, I wrote. I wrote of what I saw around me. Humorous stories of bloated merchants, addled nurses, corrupt politicians, scrivening clerks, and vile lawyers. And the world recognized them and laughed. And the more they laughed, the more they flocked to my tales. Each year I grew in celebrity. Each year I grew more secure in my finances. And each year the marrow of my soul shriveled and withered, hidden like a crab beneath the shell of my success. And every year, on the same night as that first fateful knock on my door, came a visit from my nemesis. Just as I had grown in fame, so the corrupt constable Frederick had grown sleek and fat on my bribes. And I would wager on those of a good many like me. Each year, he promised a final settlement of accounts, and each year he would return with a demand for more.
It's a big day tomorrow.
Willis is gonna go ape when he hears you gave the Buster homicide.
I'll let him. Anyway, even the villains hate him.
Isn't that usually a compliment for a cop?
This was real contempt. It's like Shotgun Bonnie said at Sadie's funeral. There's only one thing worse than a copper.
What?
He didn't say. Jesus. It's like the riddle. It's so bloody obvious.
No more riddles.
Willis didn't catch baby Jimmy because he didn't want to.
What?
Willis isn't a bad cop. He's a bent one.
You're not saying he killed her?
No. Got a bloody good idea who tipped off baby Jimmy.
Hello?
They know about Kelly. Don't call. Jimmy's tapped. See you in about 15, down where you sorted out that nosy journal.
Who is it?
How's that then?
So Larry Olivier would have been proud, son.
Cheers.
Veronica, a couple more, love.
Come along! Don't talk. What, you talking to me? Hey, I'm talking to you.
Here we are. After you.
Jimmy, you there? Jimmy! Jimmy, you here?
Sorry to disappoint you, Willis. Baby Jimmy's not here. He's being questioned while you're out the way.
It's nothing to do with me. I know nothing about it.
Oh, really? So how did you know where Jimmy's boys roughed me up? Because I don't remember reporting it.
Oh, you shit-ass, Solomon. What's to stop me sorting you out right now?
Nothing. Apart from your internal crime boys in the office. My ragged trouser mate outside with the sawn off, just waiting to blow your balls off if you as much as show your face out there about my say-so.
There's nothing worse than a smart-ass sports reporter. You're not as smart as you think you are.
Oh, no? Solved Acosta, didn't I? Jimmy's little bath trick. Oh, and the mystery about, well, you never caught anyone. Makes it 3-0, doesn't it?
What are you, flaming Batman? You never found out who killed Sadie.
Well, enlighten me.
I'm gonna get what I want, because it's the only way you ever get what you want.
Someone who don't like riddles. You know I've talked a lot of bollocks.
I've been saving for a rainy day. Even keep my passport and pennies with me.
Yeah? What do you think I'm gonna do? Stand here and watch you waddle away into the sunset?
No. What you're gonna do, you're gonna carry my bags.
What?
The one thing you want more than seeing me banged up is to find out who killed Sadie. Now, if I go down, You'll never find out.
Yes, love, what can I get you? Creme de menthe and a lemonade, please.
Babe, come round, we're celebrating. Hold on, everybody, be quiet, it's on. Baby Jimmy. There's that bugger that kicked me in the balls, look.
I've been foot.
Look at that big girl. Is he the one who smacked on Mike?
Well, here's to success.
And here's to the bastard who let Willis walk.
Kate! Kate, I can explain.
There's no need.
Where did you say you was going again?
Do me a favour, Michael. You don't think I just floated down the Thames on a banana boat, do you?
Who said we were in this together?
Willis was the only one that could tell me who killed Sadie. It was just a trade-off. All right, then. Now it's time for you to stick to your side of the bargain. Carry your own bleeding bags.
You never make a porter with that attitude. And you're looking for a big tip also.
He was an accessory to murder and you let him get away.
Who killed Sadie? Forsyth.
What, the MP?
City Airport, boys. Chop, chop.
How?
Like you said, carry your own bleeding bags.
Wasn't an easy decision.
Well, this is. Goodbye, Mike.
Kate, come on, love. Let's have another pint, shall we?
No. It's time I got home. No, I don't mind the odd night in a bed, but it's always good to get back to a nice wet cave. At last came blessed relief, as the black night of death finally carried off my wife, without her ever, for one moment, regaining control of her so damaged faculties. Then it seemed for a second that the pall of my misery was lifted, for surely, with the cause of my secrecy gone, not even the bloated leech that had fed on me so well and so long would be able to continue his feasting. In latter years, to preempt his suspicious visits to my home, I would arrange with a local publican, a shrewd man, who knew how to close his mouth for a shilling and keep it closed to have access to his silent hostelry in the hours of darkness. He assumed I knew that this was for some furtive carnal assignation that did not befit a celebrated writer, and I did not disabuse him of such an agreeable illusion. The real meeting was always more loathsome.
I must be the invisible woman. She's seen everyone apart from me.
I don't think anybody would think that, love. Hello, mate. Veronica, have you got a minute, love?
What can I get you?
Try white wine, please, and whatever the gentleman's having.
No, I'm fine. You don't have to do that.
Oh, no, I insist. I saw what happened the last one you bought someone. Not very fair.
Just a misunderstanding, that was all.
Well, I promise not to drown you if you accept.
Go on, then. I'll have my usual. Thanks. Like a seat?
Thank you. So, what are you reading? Looks interesting.
Just an old manuscript, that's all.
I never find time to read these days.
Is it work?
Just a secretary. You?
A journalist.
Really? That must be interesting.
Well, it has been the last couple of weeks, I must admit. Yeah. So, Mike Sullivan, you are?
Margot. So, what should we drink to? Absent friends?
What about new friends? Cheers.
Cheers.
I was walking, right? And the bullets start flying all around me. I'm thinking, Mikey boy, now you're really in it. Now you've got some problems. But it won't.
Whoops. Be a darling, would you? And if I go down there, I may not get up again. I've got a cab outside. You finish your drink. Could you do it? Sweet dreams.
Give me back my book.
You're Charles Dickens.
What's in a name?
Why you follow me?
I think you'll find you followed me.
You're gonna do that, you're dead.
Not very good with funerals, are you?
Why did you kill Sadie?
You've been reading too many books.
He sends me gifts and flowers. He change 1,000 clothes.
Mike, darling, you wait. Listen, I'm really sorry about the drink.
He's crazy. Yeah, he's crazy about our love.
Mike?
Whoa, this love in my life. I know he's there for me. He climbed the highest peak.
All I remember was in the pub with Miss Gorgeous, then Whammer. Wake up, lipstick all over me, Chopper. And a goodbye note from Kate.
Oh, well, it must have seemed a little untoward. Hmm? Well, you told her you were drugged.
What a passing nympho drugs me. Covered me from head to toe in love bites. And nicked me nose. I don't think so.
It is a bit of a stretch, I admit. But
What?
it's true.
I just want her back.
You, sir, must win her back. You must show her that the harpy was after your notes, not your crown jewels.
I had this awful dream last night. About Dickens at some funeral. What did I miss at Sadie's?
Retrace your steps. That's what I do.
She had an old flame at a pub in the East End. Henry the Hood. Harry the Hat. The famous hat. Sadie looks great.
She wouldn't marry me. I thought it's because I was skint. I stopped back in the horses, started to save. 20 large.
She still said no?
It wasn't about the reddies. She could see I was well gutted. So she told me about this place in South East London. Said I should buy it.
What pub?
Consolation prize. Grim old shithole in the arse end of Greenwich. I thought she was taking the piss.
Why was she so keen?
Wouldn't say. Just told me I trust her. Put every penny I got into it. 3 weeks after I bought the place, they started building a Millennium Dome next door.
The Department of Transport today ended weeks of speculation by naming Greenwich as the location for the Dome, the country's flagship building project.
Property prices went through the roof.
Did you ever ask her how she knew all this?
So bloody did. She told me to keep it under my hat.
The announcement was made by Junior Minister for Transport, Mr. Alistair Forsyth, MP.
Mr. Sullivan? I'm going to give you a few minutes. I have to get back to the house for question time.
Question 1. What's a drunk junior minister doing? Blabbing to a pub landlady about the new site for the Millennium Dome 3 weeks before it came public.
That's nonsense. And if you print it, I'll sue you from here to eternity.
Will ya? Or will you have me bumped off like all the others?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I suppose you've never heard of Tamron either. That's right. The firm that built half the new East End. The construction firm you had 20,000 shares in.
I sold them years ago.
Give me a bit of credit, Mr. Forsyth. You sold them to your wife, didn't you? And when they started getting government contracts, the shares tripled in value. Is that why you killed Sadie? Was she going to talk?
Sadie Miller was my friend.
Prove it.
Who killed her?
The pub, Mr. Sullivan. The pub killed her.
What does that mean?